Hey folks, so here I have my two Nepenthes pitcher plants. This is the Nepenthes Ventrata and this is the Nepenthes St. Gaya. And ever since I have them, I never pruned them. I have all these dead pitchers. So what I'm going to do is remove them, but there are a couple key things to note. First, you have some pitchers that aren't fully dead and others that are fully dead. So the ones that aren't fully dead, I'm not going to mess with them. I'm only going to prune the fully dead ones. Because these are carnivorous plants and I don't fertilize them traditionally with regular fertilizers in the growing media, nor do I give them anything other than distilled water, they don't have enough nutrition other than the gnats that they catch. So consequently, I don't want to destroy the parts that are still alive in case the plant is able to absorb any of the nutrients as it dries out. So this way, I keep the plant happy and healthy. So I'm basically going to go through, and if you can notice here, let me zoom in. If you notice, I have these dead limbs that go all the way up. So these are the ones I'm going to prune. And all I'm going to do is cut them. I should get a different pruner. Now I have these nice, cool, dead pitchers that I could use for an arts and crafts project. I'm sure some people would. And you can also sell them online if you wanted to. It's amazing what people would pay for things like that. I've seen people have listing like assortments of pictures. Some people will even take these, mount them in like a frame or something, and they'll have different kinds of dried pitchers from different pitcher plants. Ooh, I don't want to cut the stem there. If you accidentally do cut the stem, one thing you want to do is you can still cut the stem, stick it down, and propagate. So that's one way you can propagate Nepenthes pitcher plants. So you can see how when it was still a seedling, how tiny they are compared to how big they are becoming. But we will look at the finished product soon. And the plant might be happier without all this dead debris nearby. And who knows, it might help it grow more. Although I think this dead stuff can help retain the humidity, so it may be fine to leave them if you are okay with the unsightliness of the dead pitchers. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And I am almost done cutting these. I have just a few left. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here we have, let me zoom back out. So here we have the pitcher plant. Now just displaying, it actually doesn't look too bad, does it? You have the stem of the vine with the pitchers that are still fully living or mostly alive. You have the assortment of dead pitchers that I removed from it. So that was a lot more than I expected. So now moving this aside, time to work on the Nepenthes St. Gaya, which doesn't have too many from what I see. They're probably all hidden. So I may not have many to prune from them. I do have one here. And since I have new plantlets growing, it's harder to find the dead ones. So I have to be very careful with this. But there's one. Look how dark that is. And be careful with that pitcher. Here's another limb. But the Nepenthes St. Gaya, the pitchers do last a lot longer from what I've noticed than the Nepenthes Ventrata. So if you had to choose between the two, go with the St. Gaya. It's a hybrid of 3 different varieties, the Nepenthes Hessiana, Nepenthes ventricosa, and Nepenthes maxima, if I recollect correctly. So consequently, it's a lot more diverse in its gene pool than the Ventrata, which is a hybrid between the Nepenthes ventricosa and the Nepenthes alata. So it is probably a much healthier plant as well. And I don't know if these plants take on a lowland or highland pitcher form, habit with, their like for humidity or not. So I don't know if that affects things as well, but it has done better for me. And even in the middle of winter, when the temperature in the house is in the 40%, the humidity isn't like 40% or so, you still can see it developing pitchers. So they say typically the pitcher plants need to have 50% humidity or higher to produce pitchers, but some of them will produce in lower humidity environments, but not that much lower probably. I didn't test it in much drier conditions. But one thing to note, if you've noticed, all these have dried pitchers, and here I don't. I don't recollect picking any fallen pitchers off there, so I'm not sure what happened to all those pitchers, unless those were the younger leaves when I bought the plant that didn't have any pitchers when it arrived. I bought 3 of these, and I planted all 3 in bud vases. I kept one, and I sold the other 2 on Facebook Marketplace. This was a while back. So if you find a lot of them, you can, online. Although these, you can find them for under $10 at nurseries these days for young seedlings. It's really an inexpensive plant in today's market. But, you find them online and you purchase them in bulk, then you can get rid of 2 and keep 1, and then you have it at a better price, because instead of paying $10, you may pay 8 for it. So you get 3 for 8. You sell 2 for 8, and you end up with the other one. Or you can sell them, for 12, 13. If you have them planted nicely, and then you end up getting your money back. It's just all in how you wish to conduct things. So it's not a, not a typically expensive or hard plant to find, but the ones I sold, since I planted them in bud vases in a way that they stay happy, I can get more for them because I don't know if you hear the wind rustling outside with the hurricane. It's Hurricane Ian is almost clear of my area. But yeah, I feel like I finished pruning this. So this one's now happy and pruned. That one's now happy and pruned. And we have the collection of dead pitchers from both of them, which I'll see what to do. Maybe I can, mount them next to my bug collection. Now, I don't have a bug collection, but if I did. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are now inspired on growing some if you don't already, or if you were wondering on how to prune them, or trim the dead pitchers, keep the ones that are still partially dead until they're fully dried up. And good luck with them, and happy planting.